Howdy folks, now that Ramp 2025 is wrapped up, I'm on a journey to fight my way through every map region by region and give my thoughts on each map as I go. I'm not going to rate these by quality because Ramp is a project meant to be inclusive of newcomers and mapping veterans alike. I'll give each map a rating on difficulty and a category under style, which is just an indication of whether it's more a classic, vanilla Doom experience, a slaughter map, or something bespoke and experimental. These scores are of course my interpretation and I am no authority on the matter. This video will be looking at what secrets the ancient ruins hide. First off the rank is Rigor Motiis by Armoured Beerhead. This map proved to be a perfect starting point to ease us into these ancient themed maps. We start by entering a central chamber of some ancient tomb, which in an example of good map design serves to be a mini tutorial to give you an idea of what tricks and traps to expect in this map, namely pressure plates and sigil-style shootable ice switches. After we navigate through this initial chamber, Armoured Beerhead eases us in with some low-stakes puzzles and traps, using these mechanics and several low-tier monsters. One thing I found was that I actually intentionally triggered all these pressure plates I encountered because I wanted to see what they did. Luckily none of them made the map impossible to pass, and usually they activated clever wall projectile traps, adding challenge to the platforming sequences. The map's design was well considered, with the use of tasteful tomb-appropriate OTEX textures, and the subdued backing track promoted an adventurous mindset instead of the usual Doom run-and-gun philosophy. As the map unveiled itself, the traps and monsters became somewhat more dangerous. However, I never felt particularly threatened even by the final Guardian Archvile at the end. This map gets a 3 out of 10 difficulty for me, and I'd label this map as having a puzzle-heavy UDMF style. Next on the roster was Waterway to Go by Chookum. We're greeted with relaxed bongo beats for the backing track of this map as we enter at the bottom of an ancient well. There are plenty of threats above, but they're all faced away, allowing us to take in the situation and arm ourselves before starting the chaos. We have to contend with a quartet of barons while dodging imp fireballs from above, while we navigate around and hit some switches, but after the second switch is hit, this basin begins filling with water and cacodemons. This gives us more floor space to maneuver, but ups the ante on the challenge as you're forced to try and make the cacodemons infight with the remaining Hell Nobles or risk using up your ammo prematurely. After hitting several more switches and making our way to the top of the now filled basin, we contend with some pain elementals and their friends before hitting the final switch, which drains the well below us and summons in the remainder of the map's hordes. Chookum gives us bouncing pads as a way to navigate while we kill what's left of the threats in this map, and finally gives us our freedom by way of a bottomless pit of water to sink into. This one got me in a few places. I'd rate it at about a 6 out of 10 on challenge. This map is UDMF heavy in style, with swimmable 3D floors and bouncing pads. The third map in the ancient area was the Unhallowed Hallowed Halls by Nathonius. We have a relaxed beginning where we can investigate a small crypt before finding a switch that leads us to the catacombs beneath. This underground hideout reveals itself to be a mixture of tech-based experimental labs and mausoleum as we explore. Nathonius's attention to detail with their map design is apparent through subtle additions such as dust filtering down through the downlights and ambient noises around the machinery. The monster choices and traps are well designed throughout, and although not overflowing with ammunition, we always seem to have enough to get the job done. Health is a little scarcer, so be sure to play defensively as you progress through. The classic Doomwad bathroom trope comes into play here, complete with an Archvile doing their business. And finally the map converges back to a final shootout against a nasty horde of demons. The map ends ominously with Doomguy being surrounded by a host of chanting monks before the map takes its leave. This one's a 5 on the difficulty scale for me, and has some nice UDMF styling to it. Map the fourth takes us to Nhyan's Lost Congregation. We're treated to some nice Doom cute by way of a messed up bed as we start out, and soon find that we're in some isolated desert commune with several small buildings scattered throughout. Many of the doors are unopenable in this village, but we soon find the building holding the yellow key, which allows us to progress to the mess hall, where we quickly shoot down a dozen or so members of this cult-like congregation. After grabbing the blue key, we enter the local church or chapel where we interrupt a session with a demonic priest before searching the back rooms and finding a teleporter to some underground caverns, hiding a blood-filled chamber where the red key resides. Our job here apparently finished, we make our way topside once more to finish out the map. This map was fairly straightforward and easy to push through, giving it a 2 on the difficulty rating, and held mostly classical elements which could appeal to those who enjoy a more vanilla feel. Continuing through to the next ancient themed map, we come across the Forgotten Catacombs, a map by Alexander Yordanov Charcharo. This sprawling, winding system of ancient halls is nicely constructed and decorated throughout with well-picked texture choices, and soon throws a few surprises our way in the form of a couple of custom monsters. We're quickly given a shotgun as we head through the first section of the catacombs, and are fortunate enough to find a secret super shotgun in the library, just in time to contend with a nasty Archvile and its minions. A quick diversion to a side room safely introduces us to the Loper, a fast-moving electrical brute that can swallow 3 super shotgun rounds before dropping. The monster density increases from here on out as we're offered a rocket launcher, and we soon find ourselves dealing with waves of demons in grander spaces, before reaching the final area in an expansive cave which throws a cyber demon at us, as well as a healthy assortment of accompanying monsters. After dealing with this, one final Loper stands between us and the exit wall. This map is balanced quite well. I'd give it a 5 out of 10 for difficulty, and for style I'd call this custom. It makes use of some interesting non-vanilla monster variants. We're taken next to the Unfolding Citadel, a map by Kranto. After a brief exploration through a stone-walled cave, we come upon an ancient citadel, the main hall of which is unnervingly empty except for 3 key switches and 3 doors leading to different corridors. Each of these side passages gives you a weapon and a host of bloodthirsty monsters to use them against. The corridor leading behind the blue switch is heavy with Mancubi, Hell Knights, and some defending Archviles, who are none too happy that you've taken their key. The passage past the yellow switch is the easiest path of the 3 and sends you running back outside and through some tech-basey spaces, facing off against mainly cacodemons, imps, and pain elementals, before rewarding you with its key. Sending you through a winding intestinal path and throwing a few Hell Nobles at you before relinquishing its key. Once all keys are taken, you press their respective switches, which open up the central chamber and unleash hordes of mid and high tier monsters at you. I found this easiest to take care of by flicking all 3 switches, then making a break for the entry door, leaving the different monster types to thin each other out before coming back in and picking up the rest. The final wing sends a cyber demon and a bunch of minions at you, but this is balanced by the provision of a BFG, allowing you to slaughter the beasts in timely fashion before smashing that exit switch. Difficulty is a 6 for this map. It's deadly, but it arms you well, and this map felt more of a classic style of WoD. 2 Archviles, 1 pistol. This map by King Starhowl is exactly what it says on the tin. You're thrown into a really nicely designed foyer of an ancient manor, where you're given a full backpack of clips and a megasphere, and you're expected to face off against 2 fire-summoning hell priests. The battle is short and surprisingly simple, so long as you keep your cool and keep a pillar between the monsters at all times. I was fortunate enough to have 1 Archvile come down while the other stayed above, which let me focus on one of them at a time. A couple 100 bullets later and you have 2 corpses on your hand and are free to exit via the doors below the stairs. After one last jump scare, of course. Difficulties are 3, so long as you lock in you'll be okay here. And this map has some UDMF elements by way of HUD messages and actions, triggering monster kills. Next is Steve the Stone's I don't know what to call this level. This map was a nice mixture of classic temple running and cave exploration with some new custom translucent imps. The map ramps up quickly with an Arachnotron and a couple Revenant turrets as part of the first main encounter, and this momentum keeps up throughout the map. The map teaches you about shootable triggers in the opening room and redeploys this technique halfway through in a display of good map design, and he's also not afraid to suddenly drop the height of a room and reveal monsters as a way to throw you off guard. One final fake out with the red key door has you fight for your life against a quartet of barons before offering you freedom. The difficulty for this map is a 5, and it employs some custom styling elements such as the new imp monsters. Next up is one of my favourite maps from early playtesting, and on second playthrough it was just as enjoyable. JJBoren's Skeleton Legs Are Made for Running has you chase down a pair of disembodied revenant legs through the map in an effort to take back your chicken sandwich that it just stole. The absurdist premise of this map, along with the light-hearted backing track, really tickled my funny bone, and JJBoren was also kind enough to make a nicely flowing, well-designed map outside of the gimmick. We face off against hordes of revenants, mancubi and cacodemons with several other monster types peppered throughout, as we hunt down these absurdly fast pair of legs, and are often forced to divert into ancient temples to find switches or keys that allow us to push on ahead in our quest. Finally, we catch up with the legs, and we are presented with what might be the hardest single custom monster in the Ramp 2025 catalogue. Make sure you save before taking this bad boy on. After defeating these obnoxious legs, we're awarded our long sought after chicken sandwich and are allowed to leave. The difficulty for the map itself here is 5 out of 10, but for the boss is 8 out of 10. The map is very much custom styling. The Tomb of Wenet is the next map, made by Trotim. This beautifully designed map starts us off in a tomb and makes use of custom textures I've not seen before, which give off a very clean and sterile vibe. The light play is done really well throughout this first part of the map, as you navigate through ancient halls. Trotim makes use of a creative monster distribution system in one of his traps, and I absolutely love the delayed way these steps rise along with the custom flagstone grinding sound effect applied to it. Soon you escape the tomb itself, which triggers a music change, and the map turns from casual tomb run to all-out Serious Sam style mega brawl, complete with headless exploding bombers and cyberdemons on the distant parapets as surrogate chicken mechs. After hunting for a couple keys and working down the monsters, all that's left before freedom is one final push as the last door slowly grinds open. Survive this final encounter and go home free. This map threw a few threats at you, especially in the second half, but gave you plenty of ammo and room to dodge, which is why I'd rate this a 5 for difficulty. The use of the Serious Sam bombers puts it in the map style of custom. With only a couple maps left, we head on to Solitude by Razza. This somber ancient temple with its subdued, slow backing track immediately contrasted with the upbeat shenanigans of the last couple maps, and quickly caused me to lock in and focus. The map is beautifully designed with extra floor-to-ceiling detailing present from the start to finish. The map starts you off at a steady pace with mostly low-tier monsters, excepting a couple of revenants and cacodemons for the entire first act, before upping the ante in an outdoor courtyard which unleashes a host of Hell Knights and Revenant turrets, forcing you to act quick to clear them or become quickly overwhelmed. After this section, Razza's done playing nice and unleashes more hordes of mid to high tier monsters your way for the remainder of the map. Fortunately, finding the secret plasma rifle helped to trivialise a lot of these fights, and I was able to handily slaughter my way through to the exit. This map's difficulty sits at about a 6 out of 10, and the use of dynamic lighting and other such effects puts this map styling in UDMF. Finally, we are treated to an absolute incredible Indiana Jones temple raiding treat of a map called Secrets Inside the Cove by Master Cannoli. We start with no weapons at all, but are given our fists just as you encounter the first monster. A beautiful map design signpost that really hammers in that yes, Master Cannoli wants you to fight your way out here with bare fists. The first monster drops a pistol, and then off you go to a fun-filled adventure full of traps, puzzles, platforming and demon slaying. There are plenty of secrets scattered throughout this map, but some of them are cleverly hidden or require a test of skill to obtain. After a brief glimpse of tropical sunlight, you're sent back into another tomb with an optional switch hunt that results in the super shotgun, and a not so optional beat the timer collapsing temple run back to safety. The only thing missing is for Doomguy to drop his helmet and snatch it back before the temple collapses behind him. One final showdown with a battalion of demons, and you're granted your freedom to this idyllic tropical beach with a boat to sail you to freedom. After you check out what the deal is with that dancing palm tree, of course. The difficulty for this map is around a 6 or 7, and this map very much makes use of UDMF elements. And now we dust the sand off our boots, secure the loot we plundered, and come to the end of the ancient themed maps. As mentioned at the start, this is a project that brings together newcomers and mapping elites alike, so it's disingenuous to rate them against each other. Likewise, I won't have a favourite map. All I can do is encourage you to download Ramp and try these out for yourselves. Enjoy someone's little slice of art in this massive project. Till next time, thanks for watching.